The crack? What's the bleeding story? Hope yous are all doing well. Have my man here this way, Jez. How are you doing, Jez?
Yeah, very good, man. Very good. Yeah, it's been a depressive week, isn't it, with Arsenal? But what else do you come to expect with the frauds at this club? But I'm sure we'll come on to that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I'm the exact same, mate. I was away actually. I was away down in Kilkenny last weekend, and it was just good to not even think about them. You know what I mean? I just said, you know what, I'm not even streaming. I'm not doing it. I'm not looking up anything at all. Arsenal, and I'm just gonna enjoy me few beers with me mates and stuff like that. You know, had the fun and crack, and then came back and still on deadline day, and I was just like, you know, I can't see anything happening, them signing anything like that. I didn't get excited about it, and lo and behold, they done exactly what I thought they would do. You know, um, were they prepared, or like, you know, who are you blaming for the transfer window?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt, you have to put the whole spotlight on the likes of Edu and Arteta and Vinay. There's no question. Edu is a fraud. He's milking a job for a big salary, puts absolutely nothing into the club. He's a complete fraud, and as is Arteta. And I said it from day one, the day we got that bloody idiot. He will destroy the players in his club because he's such an arrogant prick. And it's starting to come to fruition. You know, it's all come out. Aubameyang, big up to him. And fair play to your show last night. I watched it. You called it. He's told the truth and said that it was an upset between him and Arteta. And so he had to go. Now, as you quite correctly said, Del, you know, here we are with one of the worst midfielders we could have in Xhaka, who has done far worse, and yet Arteta loves him, disrespects the club, disrespects the fans, disrespects the club badge, tells all the all the fans to do one at the Watford game, and he's still here. What is going on?
It's like, I was only saying that the other day actually in one of my videos. Like, I was there, fair play to Aubameyang. Like, you know, he was dead right. You know, he was dead right in what he was doing. Like, you know, what he had to come out and say and everything like that. And then I go and I look on the Arsenal YouTube channel or something like that, and there's Xhaka on a what you call them, training bikes, and looking arrogant and smug. And I was just there, you fucking prick. You are, like, you know, you're still at Arsenal, and a player who single-handedly dragged us to an FA Cup final and won it. You know what I mean? Saved Arteta's job, never disrespected any fans at all, anything like that. But you are still at this club. Now, that to me is a fucking disgrace, and excuse me language, but it is. And the three clowns that you just said there, how fucking dare them run our club into the ground? It's a fucking disgrace. As long as I'm supporting Arsenal, I'll tell you, this is the worst stage I've ever seen Arsenal at. Now, you may tell me 1983 in around that era might have been probably worse, but I'm talking from 89 onwards. I personally think that it's the worst. We're not even talking about the playing of Arsenal football team on a pitch. We're talking about these clowns that are running the club. We shouldn't even need to talk about that. That should never even come into Arsenal fans' mind. Like, you know what I mean? You should be talking about the players, who we can get and stuff like that. We're not even getting players. We're letting them go. You know what I mean? It's a joke. Like, we're the laughing stock in Europe. Everyone's laughing at us. And that's why your man Arthur Melo, whatever, the Juventus midfielder that we were linked at, and I think, who was this? So I don't know, it was a rumor or something was said. Juventus basically said, yeah, you can have him, but we'll take Partey. And I was there saying, yeah, why wouldn't they say that? 100%. It's a disgrace. How dare they even mention party? Like, Arthur Mella isn't up there with the stands of him. Why wouldn't they say that? Because they're looking at us going, Arsenal are a fucking joke. Let's take the piss out of them. Let's try and get the party as a swap deal. You know what I mean? We're Juventus. We're winning leagues here. We're in the Champions League. Who the fuck it is? You know what I mean? And that's, to me, is these clowns are making a show of us in Europe. So do you think, is this the worst run since 1983? And now, probably 1983 wasn't as bad, but what do you think?
Yeah. The worst time in my time in Arsenal's club history was the early 70s, 72 to 75. But
Yeah.
let's put it in perspective here. It wasn't, the club was not being mismanaged like it is now. What we had then was players coming to the end of their careers that just couldn't compete to the standards that were required. And we had a great management philosophy at the time. All right, Bertie Mee was coming to the end of his best days. And so times were changing. But, you have to look at this in a totally different perspective. We have an arrogant, fraudulent manager who is seriously pissing off players, and we can name them. Tierney, when he first came here, showed great promise, showed what he is, a class player. He must be thinking now, why the hell did I leave Celtic to come here?
Yeah.
With this complete arse, because that player has regressed. We've seen it with Lacazette. He's regressed. Yeah. He got rid of, at the time, our best goalkeeper. Yeah. In Martinez, because Martinez wants to be number one. And I honestly think Martinez probably stood up in front of Arteta and said, I want to be number one, or I'm going. And Arteta, being the petulant little child he is, probably told him, we'll go then. Now, I'm sorry, Arteta is not that good a manager to be able to turn around to players who have good standards, good ability, and do that. And he's done it with Guendouzi, Saliba. He won't play Pepe. And, class players who he just wants to manage to what he likes. And I honestly think it's a proven point now that if you piss Arteta off, you're done. Because Aubameyang, fair play to the fella, he's come out and said it. It was a problem between Aubameyang and Arteta. And Arteta probably turned around, because he's a strong, very professional man, and has turned around and said, up you, Arteta. And Arteta, being the person he is, said, right, you ain't playing no more. And Aubameyang just said, right, fair enough. So Aubameyang, and big up to him for doing it, forced the move to Barcelona. And I'll tell you what, he will do very well at Barcelona. He's not burnt out. All right, he may be a yard short of the pace he used to have, but he's a dangerous striker. A player who we are going to seriously miss, because who the hell have we got? Entekia, Lacazette, who's almost given up with Arteta, and he'll be gone in the summer.
Yeah.
No, he's just turning up for his paycheck. All right, we've got Martinelli, great player for the future, but he's not the finished article. So, what happens? Let's have a look at Lacazette get injured. Yeah, so that leaves us then Entekia. Yeah,
my God.
And Martinelli, yeah, young lad, shows 100% every game. So then he's forced to play Pepe. Now, I'd actually like to see Pepe played in a central role, personally. I know it didn't work great in France when he did play that role, but give it a chance, because we've got to do something. Because right now we got shit.
That's crazy, because I'll tell you, I wrote something down here myself just before I actually came on, and it was actually about Pepe, and I was there thinking as well, yeah, why not? Why not put him in the middle? Because I think Martinelli will suit the middle and get there eventually, but I just think now Pepe, he has the skill, play him through the centre and play the likes of Martinelli on, Saka, Smith Rowe, feeding them the balls in. You know what I mean? And it was just, I was actually going to ask you that. Would you play Pepe in the middle at all? Like, would you just throw him straight in, or is it in process to get him in there?
No, I think this club, this team needs a major shake-up. Stick him in there. Next game. Yeah? Put him in there when he's available. And let's see what we paid £72 million for that guy. Yeah. So let's get him in. Let's get him and play him. Let's give him a run of games, which he's never had under Arteta. He's a bit part player. So play him. And let's see what he can do. And, that will give us an idea of what he's about. Because if he's a load of shit, then sell him in the summer, But is he not playing to his full potential? Because we have to look again at the cancer in the club is Arteta. And I've been calling this now for 2 bloody years. He was an arrogant player when he joined us from Everton as a panic buy by Wenger. And he's proven it. And all these people that are sitting there, he's going to go back to Man City as their manager. Are you having a fucking laugh? Going to Man City as their manager after Pep Guardiola. I'm sorry, there are so many deluded pricks out there that think that is what is going to happen. Dear God. Oh. The best place for Arteta to go, mate, is Rotherham United. That's his level.
Jez, how fucking dare you insult Rotherham? Fuck's sake. You just have to laugh. Like, the journos, I hate them. I just, you know what I mean? They're no good, because even the day or two leading up to the deadline day and all this crap, and you're there reading this absolute garbage that they're fucking putting out, and some people are believing. And I'm not disrespecting anyone in this, because you do want to believe it, you do want to click onto it, but they're just, these guys are being paid by the club. You know what I mean? And Arsenal fans now have to just turn around and just go, do you know what? You're full of fucking shit. And I'd love someone to actually grab a whole load of, like, let's say from whatever tabloid you want to say, and says, you said this, it didn't come true. You also said this, it didn't come true. We were linked with this player. You said they were down at the training ground or something like that. No, they fucking weren't. So you're full of shit. So everything that you're in the press conference with Arteta, how cold out today, Mikel, isn't it? Like, get the fuck out of the room. You know what I mean? Stupid questions. But the club are smart. You have to give to the club. Fair play to them. They're a dictatorship, as people are saying, because they're saying to these journalists, you ask a question like that again and you're gone. You're not back into this press conference again. Your badge, that your little swipe that you get in, you're fucking gone. But I'm just hoping that Arsenal fans now hurt them in the pocket, because it's the only way we're going to get rid of Arteta. And it's what Wenger, and if people sort of think, no, you won't. No, you will. We got rid of Wenger that way, by putting no arses on seats. The Kroenkes sort of start checking the old bank balance there and so, well, hold on a minute. There's not that many people in the stadium. There's not that many people buying the merchandise. What the fuck is going on here? Right, let's listen. Oh yeah, they're chanting. They're going mad at Arsenal press. The Arsenal press. Let's have a look at what they're saying online. What's going on here? Oh, Wenger out. Oh, okay, Wenger out. Let's go. You're gone. See you later. You're not making me money, because at the end of the day, the Kroenkes don't give 2 fucks about this club. They care. They care about what's coming into their wallet, and that's what it comes down to. And Arsenal fans need to realise that and hurt them hurt them where it matters to them, and that's unfortunately for us. They just think about money. They don't think about our club.
No, and you know, I want to come back to a point that you made there. I watched your stream about the Winkers journos. Great, great stream.
I couldn't put in what I really wanted to put in there.
I know what you wanted to say.
Yeah,
and I've got a fact that I can tell you. Right, the pictures of Isaac outside the Emirates in his brand new Rolls Royce, yeah, was the fact that, and I can tell you this, he came over to pick up his new Rolls Royce from the Rolls Royce factory at Goodwood, which is about 27 miles from where I live, near Chichester. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's come over and he's obviously picked it up and thought, I'm going to have a day out or a couple of days in London. Why not? Yeah. International, you know, we're on a winter break. I ain't got no games. Let's have a little drive around. How do we know he wasn't seen at Southend United's ground?
Yeah. Or Rotherham.
Exactly. So all these fucking like little fanboys who spend their lives outside the Emirates taking a photograph of every single person that turns up. Yeah. See, the guy's picked up his brand new roller for 250 grand the day before, and I can prove that point. The day before, yeah. And I can tell you how I know, because I know a couple of people that bloody work there.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So he's picked it up and he's thought, well, I'm over here. I'll have a little drive around. Why not?
Yeah. Why not? Exactly.
And I'll drive the car home. So, you know, these journos that put out, oh, Isaac is outside the Arsenal Emirates, you know, oh, he's going to sign. It's absolute bollocks. You know, and until the sad thing is, this is what we have to contend with, that we have so many people now, and the biggest problem is, Del, is social media. You know, you can't deny it. It's social media. You know, I mean, we get all the flip-flop fans. AFTV are as bad. Arteta in, Arteta out. Arteta in, Arteta out. You know, and it's all done purely and simply for views and likes, because there's hundreds of thousands of people that watch the big channels, and these people that call themselves the top gooners, which is an absolute something I find insulting. The real top gooners of the day, and we have these idiots.
Yeah,
and people follow them.
But it's so frustrating to me, because at the end of the day, to me, there's no top gunner. No. You or me are no top gunners. You know what I mean? Like, we all love the club. You know what I mean? And we want the club to do well. Even us, fucking Rat Army or whatever you want to call us. You know what I mean? We want the club. We're more passionate about the club than these fucking idiots. And even on one or two of my streams where I lost the plot, I think I lost about 4 or 5 subscribers because of it. I think they seen me on Twitter and fucking Instagram. I don't say much on it. I only sort of use it to get my channel out there the odd time. And they probably go, oh, here's an Arsenal fan. We'll subscribe to him. And then next thing they see what I'm doing, fuck you, and, you know, giving it loads. Oh my God, he's hurting my feelings. My ears. Quick, turn it off. You know, yeah, it's grand, fuck off. I don't want you listening to me channel. I don't give a shit who fucking listens. You know what I mean? You know, but these guys just want to listen and, you know, give the guy a chance and give this. No, we won't give him a chance, you know, because at the end of the day, we're the third best team, biggest team in London at the minute. You know what I mean? Chelsea are coming right up behind us, you know. But and why I'm coming on to this is because my young fella, he was doing a project for school. So he says, his teacher says, look, you can do to the class, you do a project about any famous person, or, like, you know, give them your history and, like, you know, little stuff you have to do. And he done Smith Rowe. He wanted to do Smith Rowe. And I says, lovely, yeah, grand, I'll help you with that and stuff like that. So yesterday, we live beside a shopping centre. So we went up to our local shopping centre and we went into news agents, and you have all the magazines and stuff like that. Like years ago when I was growing up, you had the United magazine, you had Arsenal, you had Liverpool. That's about it. Now in the news agents, there wasn't one Arsenal magazine. Okay, there was Liverpool, United, Man City, Chelsea, and I think it's seen a Spurs one even. And that to me, right? I know, but the point I'm trying to say here is, especially being a foreigner, let's say, supporting Arsenal, they're losing the younger generation coming up, because now in the schoolyards, there's the Man City's supporters, there's the Chelsea, there's that's where the kids are, and that's where Arsenal are now falling behind. They're falling. They don't realise it yet, and I don't know why they don't realise it, but it is happening. And that even yesterday, by just going to a fucking news agent, and there wasn't one Arsenal magazine, and I'm like, are we not supposed to be the third biggest team in England? Why can't you get a magazine in Dublin about Arsenal? You can't. So they need to do fucking something quick. They're running the club into the ground, and before people know it, it'll be way, way too late.
Well, that is a sad thing to hear, because if you think about back in time, the great, great Irish players that have played, Northern Ireland Irish players that have played for Arsenal. And, I know for a fact that Arsenal did have, I don't know if they do have now, used to have a massive, massive following of either Arsenal, Man United, well, certainly when I was a kid, which I know was a long time ago. But the fact that you don't get that in Ireland now is a sad fact. But we have to look at the whole process of what Arsenal don't do, and what Arsenal do is they don't care. They don't care, because at the end of the day, it's a cash cow, and it started a very, very long time ago. Because with all the fans that I know, I used to go to games with over the years, who were Irish fans, born and bred, lived in London, knew as much about Arsenal and supported them as much as I did. Now Arsenal is a global fan base, and which is a great thing, but it also brings in a problem in the fact that there's a lot of people from around the world that don't understand the love of Arsenal to the local community, or the local community that's now dissipated. And it's not just Arsenal, it's Liverpool, Man United, Man City, all these top clubs, Chelsea, have a massive massive international fan base, which is a good thing, but it is also the fact that everything becomes dissipated. That is all Arsenal want. They don't care. Let's get it right. They don't care about the fans that go week in, week out, home and away. All they want is your money. All they want is your money. And that is why I said on a show the other night, I've decided I was going to next season buy a new platinum season ticket. Right? And I'm not going to do it now. That's it. I'm not doing it. All the time we have these absolute arseholes in charge of this club. I ain't doing it. I haven't bought any merchandise for 2 years. I mean, this away shirt is, 3 years old? But I refuse to, I will not. And I've said to Lee and Kenny the other night, I'm not going to go to any more games this season. I might go to away games.
Yeah.
I might go, but I'm not going back to the Emirates. I don't like the Emirates anyway. It's soulless. It's a rip-off. You get the piss taken out of you with food and drink. And It ain't happening. It's simple as that. And all the time we have these absolute frauds in place, Del. We are going nowhere. And I'm just going to, before I shut up, I'm just going to come back to a point. I see a guy today on, I think it was Twitter. I don't go on Twitter a lot. He said he'd rather end up 8th than have a top 4 position, because what would we achieve in top 4? Which is a great point. If we end up 4th with this squad and this manager in the Champions League, can you imagine the embarrassment?
Jesus Christ. Imagine that. Like, it is a great point, and it's something that I actually mentioned the other day. I think because he's a fucking jammy manager, I think we're going to get the Europa Conference League. And that's going to be a fucking disaster for this club. And people don't realize, oh, it's a step forward. It isn't. It's bollocks. Who the fuck wants to play in the Conference League under Mikel Arteta? Please fucking tell me what player is on fucking heroin that wants to do that. You know what I mean? I just want to read out one or two of these comments. I think this is a good point, actually. No signings in January, but they released another train at top. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that just cements your point there. What you're saying is they don't care about us Arsenal fans. They care about money, and people need to start realizing this. You know, I'm not putting it out there, but how? Like, I know Arteta and all sanctioned all these, outings out the club, but it sort of reminded me a few years ago of the Newcastle scenario when they were trying to get rid of your man Ashley, and he started selling a few players and stuff like that. Like, could the Kroenkes be looking to sell in a year or two? Was there talk of that African guy? I forget his name. I think he's from Nigeria or something like that. He's supposed to be the richest man in Africa. He wanted to buy Arsenal or something like that. Do you think that could be a thing, or is it just me wishful thinking? They're sort of getting rid of the top players. They're not having to pay out as much wages.
It's an interesting point. I don't know if I agree with that one, because why would you want to sell your top assets? Because if you want to sell the club, you want to sell the club to somebody where you got good assets. You're better off selling it with gold bars than silver bars.
But sorry to go across you. I only think it's so easy to sell Arsenal as a club. It's probably the easiest thing to do. So who gives a fuck what players are there? Because the new owner that comes in, he's going to be a multi-billionaire, and he can just go, right, I can just throw money at players, get Arteta out, get the manager I want in. It's just something. Look,
it's an interesting point, Del. But I read somewhere, usual crap, that Arsenal are going to spend. There's talk 180 million, right, in the summer. Now, 180 million. That don't buy a lot. If you want a top world-class striker nowadays, you're looking 110 million pounds. So that leaves you 70 million. And we need world-class midfielders. So out of that left 70 million, you might get one.
Yeah.
So that's 2 players to get world-class. And this brings us to the point where it was proven with Vlahovic, who went to Juventus, he didn't want to come to Arsenal because they got no ambition. He wants to go and win. Yeah, and we've seen it for so many years. Robin van Persie had his greatest season for Arsenal. Let's get it right. We stuck with that player for a long time through injury season.
People don't realise that.
And then he came good. And what happens? He pisses off to Man United. because he had a discussion with Wenger, and he basically came out and said Arsenal have no ambition, and he wanted to win like any top footballer. You know, you don't go into any sport, whether it's Formula One, it's hockey, fucking netball. Yeah, you go in it to win it.
Yeah,
that's what you do. Yeah, you want to win in life. So you know whether you're a guy that, and I'm not taking the piss out of anybody when I say this. If you're the guy that goes and sweeps streets, you want to have the cleanest street in the town.
Yeah,
that's your goal. That's what you want to do. So, if you're a traffic warden there, bless them. Yeah. You want to get more tickets in your mate down around the corner. It's part of life. It's winning ambition. And if you're a top world-class footballer, or even an average Premier League footballer, you want to win. And if you see your club doesn't have that ambition, you want to go. And I'll tell you now, we're going to see other players go. We are going to see other players are going to get pissed off. And I think we're already starting to see it with the likes of Tierney, yeah. And I tell you one thing for sure, somebody's going to come in for Martinelli in the summer.
Yep.
100%. Saka, yeah. ESR. These are players of quality who could be excellent players under the right guidance.
Like, I think the first few videos I done, I was exactly what you said there. I says, we have to mind these players because football's not, we won't go near them. Just let Arsenal have another season or two. No, fuck you. Here, Martinelli, there's whatever you want a week. Arsenal, there, you'll take 100, 150 million for him. Thank you. We're Man City. He's coming to us. Simple as. Okay, it's not because of the love of the badge or anything like that. At the end of the day, footballers are businessmen as well. They want to, obviously, there's two things they're looking for. It's trophies and it's money. And if they can marry the two of them together, happy days. If it's not going to happen, okay, what club is going to give me the most money? Because that's the club I'm going to go to. I don't care if it's in Timbuktu or wherever. I'm going to go to that club. And you see it with a lot of players. And that's fair enough, because at the end of the day, they've trained for years and years. They've been out in cold weather, playing this, playing that. They deserve their money. Fair play to them. You know what I mean? They're a brand. They're an entertainment, whatever you want to call them. So don't think for a second, oh, well, they came up through the Hale End and all this. That's bullshit. You know what I mean? I do understand, yeah, they'll have a bit of loyalty at Arsenal. But if you tell me Saka, Man City or something come in for him and go, we will treble your wages at Arsenal. And also then his agent is in his ear, you can win the Premier League, you have a chance to win the Champions League or go into the final or semi-finals of it. You will be a world superstar because everyone will want your jersey and all this crap that goes with it. We'll get your merchandise deals. We'll get you all this. His agent is going to be in his head. He's not going to be in his head, oh, do you know what? Stick with Arsenal. Like, you know, they brought you up. Like, you know, it's not going to be like that. Because football's a business. And as you said there, their heads will be torn then. And then they might, right, I'll show Arsenal a bit of loyalty because it came up through the academy and stuff like that. Their head will be torn. And once a player's head is torn, just get them out. Just go. Because they're no good. You know, they're thinking about, oh, I should have taken that move. I'm losing. I'm in Burnley. We're losing 2-0. It's raining. What the fuck am I doing here? You know, there's no ambition in this club. Exactly what you said. And that's where it's going. It's now for me, that's where it's going. That's where Arsenal are going at the minute. We are going to lose about 3 or 4 games in a row between now and the end of the season. We 100% are. Or we lose 2, draw 1 that we should have won or whatever. We're going to go through an awful period because we're going to get an injury. As you said, could be Lacazette, could be Eddie, could be Martinelli, could one of them players. It's going to happen. You know, these things happen in football. And we're going to be in the shit. And then there's going to be no one to come on. Like the Nottingham Forest game. There was no one to send on there. Like, you know, he had Aubameyang out the door. He wouldn't put on Pepe. You know, we were sending on Coutinho to change the game. That's not fair on that young fella.
No.
You know what I mean? But he's doing this, and this is exactly what's going to happen. We haven't signed anyone. We got rid of players. It's going to get worse. You know, and what I'm saying now is, come the summertime, these boys, I'm telling you now, Saka, Smith Rowe, Martinelli, they'll get their heads turned. One of them at least will. A big club is going to come in for them and just go, do you know what? What are you doing at Arsenal? Come on over to us. We have a chance to win the Premier League, Serie A, whatever the big club is going to come in. The Bundesliga. You know, and we're left behind. What's going to happen to your project youth? You're still with Arteta. Oh, great, we're in the Conference League. Whippy fucking do. You know what I mean? It's so fucking annoying. What should be happening now is you sack Arteta, get him out, and you get a new manager in and give him these few months to say, right, in the summertime, if I owned it or whoever's in charge of the club, you turn around and just go, right, this section of the season, the last 3 months of the season, is your bedding in period. You come back to me in the summertime, we'll have a meeting. You tell me what players you need, what you're short in, who you need. That's because you're the manager. You tell me that. And Edu, you go and get them. But that's not Arsenal. We're going to go into the season. We're going to go into the summertime. We're going to go into the transfer window in the summertime. And we're going to pick more players or sign 1 or 2 players or 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7 average players. And then we're going to go into the next season. It's going to be November, December. And the same people like me, you, Lee, Kenny, loads of other people are just going to be saying the exact same thing. You know, and it's going to be like, we fucking told you so long ago about this clown, this fraud. And look where the club is now. And then that's when your big young players are 100% saying, I'm fucking out of here. So they'll probably give us 1 season, and it's probably next season if we're lucky.
Well, I can't disagree with the word you just said. And you know, let's have a look at this from a case in point. One of our top players, so desperate to get away from the club, flies himself over to Spain, to Barcelona, takes 2/3 of a wage cut to go and play for another team because he's desperate to get away from this club. And why is he desperate to get away from this club? Because of Arteta and the whole philosophy and structure of this club. And let's you know, come to the point you just made. All the time we've got Edu and Vinay here, Arteta is going nowhere because all they're doing is protecting their interests. Because the Cronkies don't give a shit. I'll put money on it. The Cronkies don't even know half the players at this club.
Yeah.
If you took it down, if you took Josh Kroenke or Stan down to Hale End, he wouldn't know who any of the players are.
No.
Any more than I do, to be fair.
Yeah.
But if I was the billionaire owner of that club, I would be looking at every single player, whether they're under 14s, 16s, whatever, as an asset, a potential asset to the club. So I'd want to know. So I would go down there if I was the owner once, twice a week and see what's going down, see how the training's going. You know, want to know what's going on, want to know how they are. And if I was a billionaire owner of Arsenal, I'd be at London Colney talking to the players. Are you happy? What's going down? What's occurring? And if I didn't like what I was seeing, I'd be having a word. I'd be calling the manager in and saying, look, mate, sorry, this ain't working. You need to change it up. And if you don't change it up, I'll give you 3 games and you can fuck off because I'll get somebody else. There's going to be loads of people who want to come to Arsenal for the big money as a manager. Well, I'll go and get Graham Potter. Yeah. He's probably on million and a half, 2 million a year. He's a damn sight better manager than you, Arteta. So I'll offer him 4.
Yeah.
Get him in, and let's see what he can do. It's the Chelsea way, you know. Abramovich, if it ain't working, he tells him to fuck off down the road. Right, sorry, mate, you've had your time, you ain't done well. Goodbye. Let's get somebody else in. It's not hard. Football is quite an easy game. It's all about management and money. If you've got money, like Man City, Arsenal, Man United have got loads of money, but the Glazers don't want to play the game. Liverpool, Tottenham have got money, but again, they've got a problem with their setup. You know, you look how Bayern Munich work. Yeah. Now, Bayern Munich are nowhere near as rich as Arsenal because what they charge for match-free tickets is so low. It's madness. But what Arsenal rely on is let's drop some more merch. Let's charge you £16.40 for a fucking burger and chips. Yeah. Let's charge you £7 for a pint. Yeah. Get all this money in. Now, the point you made much earlier, where it does hurt businessmen who are looking at the bottom line, is if people aren't going to the ground and not spending £16 on a burger and chips, they're not buying a pint at £7.40, they're not buying a 250ml glass of wine for £9. Yeah, that suddenly rings in their ear rolls. Oh, hang about. Our takings on match day last Saturday was £60,000 down on the concourse. What's gone on? What's happening? Shirt sales. Oh, shirt sales this week, they're down £80,000. And all the other bits and bobs that go with it, you know? So that is the only way you're going to get these people out the door, because the Cronkies they're not interested in football. Let's be fair. Yeah. So we need somebody to actually hurt them where it really hurts. And that is the fans that turn up, excuse me, week in, week out. And until that happens, mate, I can assure you we are stuck with Arteta. We could lose, I'll tell you now, we could lose half of the games between now and the end of the season, and Arteta will still be here. Because there's Edu and Vinay and Garlic Head, they're all in it together. It's a scam.
Yeah.
It's a fucking scam.
Like, see, the Cronkies are looking at this and, like, look, I do blame them, but there's more on my hit list than them at the minute. There's a few people ahead of them, and it's the 3, 4 even. Your man Garlic, fucking, like, your job is to, let's say, if Edu or Mikel put players up, write a piece of paper down and just go, these are the players that we want to get to this club. You have to negotiate the contracts and stuff like that with them. And he's done none of that.
Nope.
Why is he in a job? He's still getting paid by Arsenal now. And I'm sorry, why is he in a job? Because he's living off the summertime when he had, so many months and, a few players there that were easy enough to get, it wasn't exactly hard to do it. You had plenty of time to do it. But now this time he was under pressure and he had only a month to do his job. He didn't do it. So, and another thing that I want to say is about the January window, and a player that I've been always going on about that we needed and would have complemented Partey in the middle was your man Basuma off Brighton. I think Partey and him in the middle would be phenomenal. They would be unbelievable. But I can guarantee you that all the Liverpool are going to be in for him, Man United are going to be in for him. We could have got him for 50 million now in January, and easily could have paid his wages because he's at Brighton. We could have here double your wages. He's obviously going to say yeah, but no, we didn't do that. Is it the Cronkies pulling the strings saying we are not signing one player in January because you have to get rid of all these players? Or do you think it was Arteta and Edu that just fucked up?
I think it's a combination of factors, to be honest. I don't believe there's any true philosophy we were going to sign anyone. You know, I mean, God's sake, we all know why Arteta went out to America was to get Krusty the Clown. You know, and dear God, if we drop that low that we have to sign a bloody central defender from Colorado Rapids.
You know what, come here. Before you say anything there, Jez, I think that deal's a bit fucking dodgy, if you ask me.
Yeah.
You know, obviously because Concrete owns the fucking Colorado. Like, I think there's something dodgy there. Just, that's what I think. Because, like, who the fuck is this guy? You know what I mean? Is he the next Maldini? You know, Cafu, whatever. I don't fucking think so.
I don't think so. But, you know, getting back to your point is that I don't think there was actually any structure in place to sign anybody of any quality. You know, it's the usual thing. Arsenal are linked to every player in Europe during every transfer window. And it proves its point with Vlahovic, who said, I don't know Arsenal, you know, ambition. I want to go to Juventus. Or if you had a team like Barcelona come in for him, he's going to say, it's not Arsenal, because it's got to the point now, and I said this a year ago with Lee and Kenny, we're going to get to the point where we are sunk to below the depths of the Arsenal standards. Nobody is going to want to come here, because even you know, I've seen people saying, oh, we get top four, we go in the Champions League. That doesn't mean you're going to attract anyone, because if you've got Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund, Juventus, I can name all the teams in Europe in that league, and Arsenal come in for them, and they're going to say, well, you ain't going to win the Champions League. I'll go to Borussia Dortmund, I'll go to Bayern Munich, I'll go to fucking Red Star Belgrade, you know. And so it's just, nothing is going to change at Arsenal in the next year unless somebody makes a big decision upstairs and says, Edu, Vinay, Arteta, fuck off. Because it ain't going to happen. And until they go, this cancer in this club is going to spread. And we're already seeing it in the fact that players come in and they get worse. You know, so we've all witnessed it.
Yeah.
Classic point in case. Ramsdale, I didn't want him. I thought, why are we employing a player that's been relegated 3 times? But he's proved me wrong. I put my hands up. He's proved me wrong. But in the last 2 games, he's been looking a bit shaky. He hasn't been the confident player that we've all seen before. His distribution hasn't been as great as it was. And so what's occurring there? And it's just, you know, we have to look at it and say, Arteta, you need to go. And until he does go, nothing is going to change.
Yeah. Like, even with Ramsdale, it seems like he's getting fucking Arteta-itis, you know. It's just fucking, I think he's settling in now. Like, and I said, yeah, look, I always give a player a season and then I'll judge them, like, you know, after that, because, you know, that I've always said that, and that's the way it is. And we'll judge him in November or something like that if it was a good signing, because he's a year and a small bit into the next season, and see how he's getting on, you know. I just want to say, Ola, I'm going doing a show tomorrow with him on my channel, 1 o'clock till about 2, having a chat with the man. There's a real one, another real one in the house. So yeah, if you are around, then jump onto the channel and have a look in and drop a few comments. I really appreciate it.
Is that with Ola?
Yeah. Me and the real one. We're going drinking proper 12 whiskey at 1 o'clock 2 on the day, so it should turn out good. But yeah, sorry, just to move on. See the thing now as well. Like I'm so fucking pissed off with them fucking ages that are in the club. Like, what does Edu do during his, like, what's his work day? Do you know what I mean? I'd love to fucking know that. I'd love to have a camera. I can't wait till the fucking the Amazon documentary comes out, and it'll just be like, oh, here's Edu's office. He doesn't even have a fucking laptop, or he doesn't have a pen or a paper. Like, what does he fucking do? You know what I mean? I just picture him on a jet ski all the time.
I'd like his job. He gets paid $3 million a year for doing fuck all.
Fuck all, yeah, exactly, yeah. You know, it's just like, and he's on big money as well, by the way. You know, and
$3 million a year.
How much?
$3 million.
You're joking.
Yeah, $3 million he gets a year.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ! And just for anyone that's watching, or you know what I mean, and if you're give the process a chance and all this bollocks, he's on $3 million a fucking year, and your merchandise and your stuff that you're buying is paying for that. So just think about that. You know what I mean? Oh, it just boils me blood.
How many jet skis can he buy a year?
I'd say he'd have enough jet skis now to fucking go from the English Channel all the way over to Brazil at this stage. He'd be like fucking Del Boy and Only Fools and Horses.
Yeah, it's you know, this is what the whole thing is that Arsenal is a cash cow. You know, you can just like spend your money, guys and ladies, go and spend your money and let these frauds have a great life, because it is almost like scammers. You know, the scammers that contact people and nick their pensions, you know, and then bugger off over to Spain and live the high life and all that. That's all these guys are doing.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing. They don't give a fuck about Arsenal. Now, you know, let's not fall into the bloody trap that Edu, ex-player, and let's forget this one. He's not a fucking legend at Arsenal.
Yeah.
Right? Arteta is not a legend at Arsenal. Arteta was a bang average midfielder who was panicked by at 10 to 11 by Wenger. Yeah? Edu, right, was an average player. He used to put in a shift now and again, but he wasn't great.
He's the fucking Brazilian Ray Parlour. Do you know what I mean? He used to never fucking start. And then when someone pissed on his chips in Arsenal and he just goes, fuck you, I'm out of here. What was he, 2 seasons here or something, wasn't it?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So fuck off then. Go fucking somewhere else. You know what I mean? It just fucking does me head in. You know? What do you think of Jack Wilshere? Now, like, but before the transfer window and now the fucking shit state we're in.
Well, Wilshere, really.
Gents, just so you know, we are actually talking about this shit. Like, we're Arsenal Football Club and we're talking about Jack Wilshere. No fucking club in the planet wants to fucking sign him. And me and you now are talking about this.
I know. And the fact, when he was out in Dubai, he was wearing a number 12 shirt. What the fuck is that about? You know, and the fact that it just shows the massive, massive rift that was created between Arteta and Aubameyang, that Aubameyang didn't go, but that gave him the opportunity to piss off to Barcelona. And yet we're taking Wilshere, who nobody wants, and was never really that great. He's, you know, I mean, all right, it was very sad he got that terrible, terrible injury, which basically fucked him. Let's be fair. But what the hell are we doing with him training at London Colney? Yeah,
but even the thing about it is he's over there and he's still talking to Talk Sports. I think he was talking to them today, and all he's doing. And look, fair play to him. Look, you'd probably be the same yourself, and I'd be the same. Everything like that. He's bigging up Arteta. Oh, what he's doing is unbelievable. Of course, you're going to say that you're looking for a fucking job. I'd be the exact same, and you can't blame him for that. You know what I mean? But this is where we're at. You know, this is like we're so short in midfield. Would you take him?
Who would I take?
No, would you take? No, I'm just saying the state we're in now. Would you sign him to the end of the season?
No.
Like, would you not?
No, because he's basically injury prone, and I don't believe that the fact that he's been training hard with Arsenal will make a blind bit of difference, to be fair. And let's get it right. What has he done, or how has he succeeded since he's left Arsenal? What's he done?
Fucking nothing.
So why do we want him? Why do we want a player that's now 2 years older, if not 3, and failed at Southampton? Yeah. And got rid of him. So what is he going to bring to the party? What we need is strong, hard fighting midfielder. Right? Okay, we've got Partey. Yeah. You could say we've got on a good day, I have seen some good stuff out of Odegaard. And you know, let's get Pepe in there. You know, he's a big boy. Yeah, let's get him playing through the middle. Yeah, we don't need Wilshere. We don't need a croc. And I utmost respect to the man, but he'll break down. So you sign him up and let's say a 6-month deal. Yeah, and 4 months of that he'll be broken. So what's the point?
Exactly. Yeah. It's just like, just to add on to that, and to add on to, let's say the people are probably saying, oh yeah, let's give him a chance. Bournemouth.
He's had his chance.
Yeah.
He had his chance and he didn't do it. So we got rid of him. And he went off and he didn't do it again. So why you know, what are we an old people's home now? You know, we like to get the Chelsea rejects. So
it's like, just for this point alone, just what I'm saying here is Bournemouth had him. They didn't want to give him another contract. Okay.
Sorry, it's Bournemouth, not Southampton.
Yeah. Bournemouth, right? So look what they've done in the window. This window, in the January transfer window. They are in third in the Championship. They know they needed a few players. I think they signed about 4 players or something like that, because they want to push for promotion.
Yeah.
And that's what a professional football team do. They go, okay, we're weak in this position. We're weak in this position. Let's go and sign players that can improve that position. Not rocket science. I'm no rocket science here. It's just pretty fucking easy. So what they've done is they went out, they found the players that they wanted, and they had a great successful window. And now they are pushing on to try and get promotion. It may not work, but they fucking tried. They went, I think they signed 4 or 5 players, and fair fucking play to them. And I'm going to keep an eye on them this season, because they're in third now, I think 3rd or 4th, and they're pushing for automatic promotion. They're just going, do you know what? We're in touch and distance now. Let's fucking get these players in and push on and get there. Arsenal, let's say now, look, top 4 is a trophy, and all the fucking super Arsenal Gooner fans, and let's push for the top 4, right? Not me, not you, okay? Why not then go, right, we're in touch and distance of the top 4. We're in, what, 5th, 6th at the minute, few points off top 4. Let's sign a midfielder. Let's sign a striker. And let's sign a right back. We'll sign 3 players. Good players. We'll spend a few quid, and we'll try and push into that top 4. and then we'll push for progress next year. Arsenal just let all their players go. You tell me, if I wrote that down on a piece of paper, Bournemouth, just scribbled out Bournemouth and just wrote down what they've done, and then I wrote down on another sheet of paper, Arsenal, what they've done, I'd say to you, which is the Championship club and which is the Premiership club? You pick Bournemouth all day long that they're the Premiership club. But no, we're the ones acting like a Championship club. And not even a fucking Championship club going for promotion. A fucking relegation Championship club that's going, do you know what? Let's just sell all this, make a few quid and see what happens.
Yeah.
And that's the team. What I'm saying is, why I came on to Bournemouth is because Jack Wilshere could not even get a contract with them. And who's Jack Wilshere it now? He's fucking training in Dubai with us. We're a joke.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's a feel sorry for old players club, mate. You know, let's just drag them all in. You know, I know back in history we let Henri come and train for us, but we're talking about a totally different class of player.
Yeah.
And let's be fair, he came on in the FA Cup against Leeds and scored the winner.
Yeah.
You know, so
even done the job against Sunderland. I think we were losing or something or drawing, and he scored a header.
I think it was 0-0, and we got the Henri scored the classic Henri, didn't he? Yeah, he called it in from the left hand side, and it was amazing. But we're talking about an absolutely world class player, who wanted to come and train at Arsenal because he was off to America. Now, we let him do that because he was an honourable legend at the club and fair play. And the deal was he would play in their closed season. He would play a few games for Arsenal, not as a starter. He came on as a sub. Now, you can't say that Wilshere is in that league, and we know Wilshere's history of injury, which is not his fault because he had a terrible injury. Let's be fair, but it's plagued him all of the rest of his career. So why would you want to give somebody a 4-month contract to May, where you probably say, will he be out for 3 months? He'll break down. He'll break down in probably the third game he plays, and that's him done. So why? What's the point? This just sums up the whole thing of Arsenal: lack of ambition. And we have people to blame in the back room. Yeah, Edu, Vinay, Garlic Head. Yeah, these people are going to take this club nowhere. Edu is a fraud. He was a fraud in Brazilian football. Okay, did fuck all there, and we have him sucking off Arteta's prick, because he's a prick. Yeah. And we are going to go down and down and down. And for the people out there that think, oh, let's get top 4 because, we'll get in Europe in the Champions League. And we'll attract the best players. Fuck off. Ain't going to happen. Because people know what this, professional footballers are not that stupid. They know, because they talk to their mates. So players at Arsenal who have got friends at Real Madrid, Barcelona. Aubameyang's now at Barcelona, and he's going to be talking to people there. Say, don't go to fucking Arsenal.
Yeah, 100%.
They've got a complete prick of a manager.
Yeah,
and he'll piss you off. So his mate, he probably knows people at Juventus or Bayern Munich or PSG or Lyon, Marseille, wherever. He'll say, "How you doing, mate? Yeah, what are you doing this weekend? Because I might get the old Lambo out and we'll meet up for lunch somewhere and that." "Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll see you there." "Yeah, okay. So how's things?" "Yeah, well, I've been tapped up by Arsenal." "I don't fucking go there."
Exactly.
There. No ambition, shit manager, shit behind the scenes crew. Don't fuck off down there. Don't bother going there, mate. You want to go to fucking, you want to go to Man United or Man City or Liverpool. That's how the world works. You know people. You talk to people. I talk to people. Yeah. In my business, I talk to people in other businesses that do the same as my business. I say, no, don't get involved with him, mate. He's a dodgy payer.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely.
You do the fucking work. He'll pay you up half, and he'll pay you in the second quarter, and you'll be waiting for the next 4 months to get paid. I know it's a different thing, but that's how the world works.
Of course.
People talk. Yeah, people talk, and they'll say, "No, don't fucking go to Arsenal. Go to fucking Brentford. They've got ambition."
Exactly. Like what you're saying there is 100% true. And like, if people don't think that, like, you've seen the reports on, it's a swap deal with Aubameyang to fucking with Dembele. Dembele was never coming to fucking us, and I can fucking put me house on it, because him and Aubameyang are mates, okay? And Lacazette. We all seen the pictures when 2 years ago, or whatever, when Dembele was there and all, and we're having a party or whatever. So they talk clearly. So Dembele, even if he was stupid, he would have said to Aubameyang, "Oh, Arsenal want me. What do you think?" Don't go to that fucking club with that lunatic there. Ask Laka. We're trying to get Laka out now. You know what I mean? And 100%, I can't see him signing a new contract. Why would he?
No.
You know what I mean? And can someone, even in the comments, not even you, Jez, someone please tell me, why is Arteta trying to give Eddie a contract? I actually don't know. Like, I'm seriously asking this question to people. Like, what? I don't like. At best, he's a relegation threatening player in the Premier League, Championship, probably promotion. So he's that type of player. If that, why the fuck are we trying to give him a contract? Like, I don't understand it. And we're now in a position, like, and to, sorry to ruin people's Friday nights, but we're in a position, think about this, where our two main strikers now, their contract is up in 4 or 5 months, and they are leaving the club as we are speaking here now. They're leaving the club. So we'll have actually no strikers at the club. So we are now dependent on Edu, Vinay, Arteta to sign 3 strikers, because a Premiership club needs at least 3 strikers. So out of the 3 strikers, okay, you need, like, to push on to, let's say, go for your top 4 or push on for your title challenge, which will not happen next year, by the way. Sorry to ruin everyone's fucking year. But you need a world-class striker. Now, if people are telling me your man Vlahovic or whatever was a world-class striker, he didn't want to come to Arsenal. So then that type of world-class striker, we have to drop down another level, let's say. So our world-class striker that we'll be looking for is Calvert-Lewin. This time last year, if I says to any Arsenal supporter, Calvert-Lewin, world-class, they'd say, Del, how many Guinness have you had? You know, he's a good player. I'm not saying he's not a good player. He's a good player. But he shouldn't be, out of the 3, he shouldn't be the top that we're going for. He should be maybe the 2nd or 3rd. So he's just breaking into the first team. He's there or thereabouts. He shouldn't be the one that we're relying on, like we did with Van Persie, Aubameyang when he won the FA Cup. You know, Thierry Henry. You can go back and back. You know what I mean? But we are now relying on someone that we hope to sign, let's say in the summer, is Calvert-Lewin. And just what I'm saying now is, look how far we have fallen as a club. We had Bergkamp, Henry. You can even go back to Ian Wright, Aubameyang. But we're going now. This is where we're going. And this is the level that we're at. And this is the level that these fucking pigs that are at the club are putting it. We're there. They brought us there. And we're here now. You know, it makes me blood boil, Jez. And you know, I'll let you come in there because I'll need to take a swig of the red wine settings here for a minute. Cool me down. Tell me there's something happening.
So, you've made some excellent points there. I'll go to the point you made about when we got in Bergkamp and Henry and Vieira and all those tremendous players. The difference there, Del, was we had a fantastic management structure. We had Dennis Hillwood, David Dean, charismatic characters who I was fortunate enough to meet in my youth, who could basically sell sand to an Arab. Yeah, they could attract people and they could get these people in. Now, the fact of the matter is that Arsenal don't have that charisma or management structure anymore. So we are in a position of where do we go from here? Now, you also made a great point about why is Arteta wanting to keep Nketiah? Because he can manipulate him. He's a youngster. He's not strong at the moment mentally. He's not of a level where he's played at other clubs that has world experience of being in other situations. So Arteta is a control freak. He wants to control his people. And if you don't like it and you stand up to him, he'll fuck you off. Possibly that's what's happened with Saliba. I'm not saying that is, but you know, we've seen it with Guendouzi. Yeah, Guendouzi probably told him, fuck off. Aubameyang told him, fuck off. I'm not apologising. Xhaka, biggest fraud we've got, didn't apologise. For some reason, Arteta loves him. Probably because he wanks him off every fucking day. You know? Yeah. Now, I was going to answer a guy's question he put in here in the chat about watching Liam Brady play live. Well, watching Liam Brady back in the 70s was like a different level. It was when he came to Arsenal in 75, I think it was 74, 75. You know, nobody knew who he was. But he was just like a different class. You know, I've told you the story before. You know, we're in the North Bank and he's curled this ball in from the left wing up in the top bins. And people just stood there and went, did he do that? And then all of a sudden he went, God, wow, fucking great goal, this, that, you know. But the guy was an absolute genius. And the day we sold him was a serious, serious loss. Yeah, he was a joy to watch, man. I mean, he was one of the greatest midfielders I've ever seen at Arsenal, for sure. You know, he was unbelievable. He was right up there with the best one. Yeah, without a doubt. He is one of the best midfielders I've ever seen play live, and certainly one of the best midfielders ever play for Arsenal.
You know as well, Jez, I just want to say, so remember you were saying like back in the 70s, like I was saying for my time, I think this is the worst period that Arsenal have ever been in from my time supporting them. And you were saying the 70s. So like Liam Brady would have been playing around then. And I know then he went to Juventus at the time. Was that true, the period that Arsenal were fucking dog shit?
In my lifetime, 73 to 76 was shocking. Well, we were right down the bottom there. We nearly got relegated in 72, 73. We ended up 17th, I think it was. And there was 22 teams in the first division back then, I think it was. It was awful. It was terrible. It was shocking. But it wasn't because the players didn't try. The players, and we have to remember back in the day, the players didn't live in their big mansions up in Hampstead Heath and all these luxury homes. These guys quite often live local, and you'd see them walking to the grounds. I've told loads of stories about it. You know, I mean, George Graham used to walk down the road with his newspaper under his arm, his kit bag in his hand, and his flat cap. And you could go up and talk to him, and they'd say, "How you doing? Da, 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 da. Yeah, you go to the game on Saturday, blah, 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 and all this and all that." And they'd stand there and talk to you for 10 minutes. Yeah, that's how it was, because they grew up with the club. And they lived in the community, so it was a different thing. That's all gone now, and fair play, world's move on, and you know those players weren't getting paid tens of millions of pounds a year driving around their Lamborghinis, and fair play, good luck to you guys that you know footballers, you can do it. But it was a whole different time, and 70, 72, 70, 76 Arsenal were terrible, awful. That's the worst I can ever say I've seen the club in my lifetime. When I first started watching Arsenal in '68, we were terrible. But in came Terry Neal and did his bit of time, and 3 cup finals and all that. Won one of them, but lost 2. But you know, there we are.
Yeah.
But in 75, when I think it was 75, Brady came in, and Alan Sunderland, players like that, it gave a new impetus, because you know we had people like Frank McClintock, George Graham, Pat Storey, Pat Rice, Bob Wilson. You know, they were getting old, and I mean that with the utmost respects. But you know, being typical Arsenal, and I can tell you, my granddad's, when he was blessing when he was alive, he said it's the Arsenal way. We had the great team of Herbert Chapman in the 30s.
Yeah.
Then he went, and basically the team went down, and then after the Second World War, the team went up, down. 60s was pretty poor. I don't remember that. But we're doing it again now. But in my book, it's far worse now than the 70s, because we have shit management. At least back then, we had good management. We haven't now. It's poor. All the time, you know, Dale, if you're running a business, if you've got shit management, yeah, the workers are going to be shit, because there's no ambition, there's no direction, or the direction is wrong. And that's what we've got.
Exactly. And it even just goes back to the point there with what you said. Like the players at Arsenal as well, they talk to other players. So we'll just say, for example, Lacazette. So we'll just say he has friends in Lyon, he has friends in Marseille, Lille, PSG, whatever. One of his mates rings him up and just go, "Here, our manager fancies you for you to run your contract down and come and join us in the summer." What's he going to say? "No, I want to stay here at this fucking prick and sign a new contract." I doubt that very much. He's gone. Like, as you said, like he won't sign a new contract. I don't think, you know, the way it's looking. But I just want to, like how do you even get Edu out? Like how does he go?
The only time Edu and that lot are going to go is with the fact financials are going down, and the actual Arsenal shareholders are going to look at it and say, "Well, something's badly wrong here. You need to go." Something, you know, and the Arsenal shareholding board can get rid of Edu and Vinay. They have the power, because Edu and Vinay are not shareholders or board directors, they're employees. So the board shareholders, the executive board, can say financial sheets are not looking good because we're not getting the footfall, we're not getting the sales. Unfortunately, global sales to people that can't get to the Emirates because they live thousands of miles away will always buy the merch. And we see that on social media sites. Oh, I bought the new shirt because I can't get to the ground, this, that, and the other. And fair play. Okay, I respect that. But all the time that goes on, it's going to be very, very difficult because the shareholders, all they want is their dividends each year. Yeah.
That's all.
And the Cronkies, all the time, the bottom line is looking rosy and it's in the black and it's not going deep in the red. They're going to say, okay, fine, let's move on. Okay, we'll give you another 200 million this year. Go and buy a few players. Yeah, you need to go and buy 4 players. So we'll give you 200 million. That ain't enough to get Arsenal round the corner. Let's be honest. Arsenal need about a £300 million injection. Are the Cronkies going to do that? Well, they've given him 250 million. Look at the shit he's bought. Excuse me. So, I'm sorry, people. We're in for a very long, rocky ride. And saddle yourselves up and let's see where it goes.
Like, I want to, even just sort of finish off, and we're bollocks, basically, but if you have another few minutes, I'd like to sort of talk about, because I love talking about the history of Arsenal, and I think, look, you have the experience and the knowledge of the Arsenal days. Can I ask you, what sort of, let's say, as a kid growing up, like, I know it was your grandfather, your father, or something like that made you support Arsenal? Like,
grandfather, yeah.
Yeah. Could you sort of take us back there and sort of go through how it all started for you?
Well, my grandparents lived in Gillespie Road, which is right opposite. For people that don't know, Gillespie Road is the road that runs parallel with the old North Bank, and it's where the Arsenal tube station is. And my grandparents' house was literally almost 14 doors down from the Arsenal tube. And there is the main concourse back in the old days, of where the North Bank was. My mum and dad they rented a flat in a house in Avenel Road, which is right opposite the East Stand. And as time progressed, my dad was lucky, he went up in business. They actually bought the whole house. It was a 3-story house and eventually converted it back into a house from 3 flats. So when I got into football, about the age of 6 or 7, my granddad used to tell me the stories of the Arsenal in the 20s, 30s. My granddad's first game at Highbury was in 1924. He was born in 1906, and he moved to Gillespie Road, I think, about 1929-30. And so every match day was always the same. Every day, every Saturday is the same at home. I wasn't allowed to go to away games till I was about 10, 11. Mum wouldn't let me go. But
how did they go? Sorry, how did they go back then to the away games? Just coach, or like? No,
train. It was train. They used to go by train. But my granddad used to go in the North Bank. But when I used to go, he wouldn't take me to the North Bank because it was so packed. And so we used to go in the Upper West Stand and watch from up there. And the reason we went in the Upper West, especially in the winter, was because the wind would blow from the west and you wouldn't get so wet from the rain. And which is mad, really. Can you think I could literally walk out my mum and dad's front door and walk 15 yards, and there's the East Stand. But we used to go all the way up Avenel Road, Gillespie Road, down Highbury Hill. And anyway, but match day on a Saturday was always the same. I'd leave my mum and dad's house at 12, walk up, knock on my mate Paul's door, up to my nan and granddad's. We'd always have pie and chips.
Oh, lovely.
And granddad would sit there with his pipe. He'd having a pint of beer, and he'd tell us all the stories about the 30s, up to the start of the war, after, and he'd tell us a few stories about the war, and then he'd tell us about the 40s, 50s, 60s, and we'd just sit there listening for ages, and he'd say, 2:15, right, come on, let's go. Off we go. And we'd walk out Gillespie Road, down Highbury Hill, into the upper West Stands, and that was it, really.
Can you remember, as I said before in a stream that me and you done, I remember the first time I fell in love with Arsenal, and it was obviously the 1989 season, and I was sort of in and out because I'm a foreigner, and I could support Liverpool, Man United, whoever I wanted. But my eye was on Arsenal that season, and they weren't like Man City this season. They weren't like running away with the league or anything like that. And it was just the Liverpool game then, and when Michael Thomas scored that goal, that made me support Arsenal. Like, I know you have it's on your doorstep, but was there a game or a moment that says, I fucking love this club?
Oh God, yes, yeah. I mean, it was I'll tell you what. The first game I ever saw at home was West Brom. We won. My first home game we won 3-0 against West Brom, and there was an absolutely amazing West Brom player, Jeff Astle. Awesome player. Played for England, and watching him play he was like a magician back in the day. To be fair, but it was also when I was privileged to see Arsenal at home to Man United with George Best, and Bobby Charlton, Alex Stepney, goalkeeper, and although Man United beat us, it was a great experience. But it was living in the community. All you talked about as a little kid was Arsenal, so you couldn't but love it. And it was the whole history, the whole dynamic about Arsenal. I mean, it was just, it's so hard to describe. It just grew on you, and you couldn't feel anything else but Arsenal. And the one time that cemented it for me was when we won the double in 70-71. I was very privileged to be able to go to the cup final, when obviously we all know the classic Charlie George goal.
Yeah.
And the fact that was Arsenal's first double, and the way we won the league, and it was just magical. And the street parade.
Sorry to interrupt. What year was that again?
71.
71. So, how did it go downhill then from 71 to was it 73 to 75, 76? We were
71 to 72 was an average season. But as I've said before, it started Bertie Mee, who was our manager at the time. He basically just wasn't doing the business. But that is mainly because the players we had, been there since 65, some of them 66. So they were coming, they were getting a bit long in the tooth. And the defence the great defence had, was not as good as it was. and we were leaking goals here, there, and everywhere. And you know, I mean, I think it was we were 5 games into the season, and we were second bottom. And I know this year we started off this season pretty poor, but it was equally as poor then. And you really at the time thought, well, how are we going to get out of this? But we did. We ended up, I think it was 17th, I think 18th. Can't remember. We were fighting for relegation, man. We were really fighting for it. And the next season, we were about 15th, 16th, 15th, and then the following season, I think we ended up about 12th, and then Terry Neal came in. Ex-Arsenal player from the 60s, great player in his day. And he started to turn it around, and we started to invest. We had Liam Brady coming, we had Alan Sunderland, Frank Stapleton. These new players came in, and once these new players came in, it regenerated the club. And so we started to progress. All right, we weren't great in the league placings, but you got the 3 cup finals, lost to Ipswich, lost to West Ham, beat Man United in the classic of all classics of a cup final, and progressed on from there. The 80s was average. European UEFA Cup loss, Cup Winners' Cup, and then of course times changed, and in came Bruce Rioch. George Graham, and what can you say about George Graham?
Yeah,
we all know that one. And then in comes Bruce Rioch, who bought Dennis Bergkamp.
And people forget that. You know what I mean? They think it was Wenger, like, It's look, Jez, I love listening to all these stories. Like, it's unbelievable, and it's real. I love history itself, like, and really do appreciate you coming on my channel. And like, I love this, talking to you about past history, because it's a bit of breath of fresh air. And just looking at the comments, like, people are loving it, like, you know what I mean? Absolutely loving it. And look, I'm putting no pressure on you, but I'd nearly love to do this every Friday night with you, because I'm telling you now, talking about 2 things that I love is history and Arsenal, and combine the 2 of them together. It just by looking at the comments.
I love coming on here because it's a straight debate. It's true facts, and people in the chat, put your comments in there, and it's great fun. I don't know if I'll try and do, because obviously I've got family commitments sometimes. But
of course, yeah. No, I know. No, of course, I'm the same as you. Like, you know what I mean? Look, we've other things, but look, to everyone that's in the chat and stuff, and everyone that's watching, like, I'll definitely try to get Jez on as many times as I can, and we'll try to make it a sort of a regular thing. But things do happen. We can't always promise it. Like, you know what I mean?
If I can come on, if I can come on at some point in the week, I'll let you know if you're available. Then we'll sort something out. I'll let you know the day before so you can set it up. And we go from there. But it's great to. It's good fun for me actually to remember the old times. It brings back the old times and the memories when Arsenal were good.
Yeah, well, see, this is the thing, like, and that's the sort of thing I wanted to end on tonight, because look, we're in the shit. We all don't want to be here, but we are, and unfortunately we are. But we have to remember the history as well, because at the end of the day, we're not the 3rd biggest club in Britain for nothing. There's history behind it. We have all these great players, and it doesn't just go back to the Bergkamps, Henrys. It goes further back, like the Liam Bradys, the Charlie George. Like, when I was on an Arsenal tour, and I done a Legends tour, and I was talking to Charlie George, and you mentioned it back in the stream there earlier on about the players. They had to get the bus home, and to cement in your what you just said there is, like, people were walking around with the Legends tour, Charlie George, and I was walking around just looking at him. I was amazed by him, because like, when I get to know something, I go back into the history and how it was and how it worked and how it became good, you know. So I remember Charlie George, and this is going back a few years ago now, when I done a tour at the Emirates, and I was just in awe of him, because I loved the goals in the 70s and his hair and all this stuff, like, you know. And he said to me, he goes, the players nowadays don't have a clue what it's like to play for Arsenal. And I says, what do you mean by that? Like, and he says, back in the day, you'd play. He goes, I remember for one incident. He goes, I remember we played Crystal Palace, and we lost. I think it was 2-1 or 3-2 or something silly like that. And he goes, I had to get the same bus that was bringing the fans home was bringing me home. You know what I mean? So he says the fans were fucking sitting around me. You fucked up there. You didn't do this. You didn't track back. You didn't, like, you know. So he was sitting on the bus, literally going, sorry, you know, sorry about that, you know, and which is a fucking really difficult thing. Like, I'm sure he, like, you know, would have been annoyed that he lost the game, but then having to carry his bag, get on the bus with the fans, and get a grilling. That doesn't happen nowadays.
No,
you know.
No, not at all. There's no interaction nowadays. You know, you get the fans turn up on the bus, they go underneath the stadium, they get off the bus, because they meet at London Colney in the morning if it's a home game, do some light training, bust it down, get out, go up into the changing rooms, play the game, get out, shower, change, go back to London Colney, jump in the Lamborghinis and Rolls Royces and whatever, and go home. It's not, you know.
It's a bubble. It's in a bubble.
I used to watch players turn up to training at Highbury. You know, like on a, you know, as I was going to school, you know, you'd see Bob Wilson. I remember going up the road one day with my mate Paul, and we were kicking the football about, and we kicked the ball across the road onto the wall of the East Stand, and Pat Jennings picked it up. And he's like, you know, all right. And he said, yeah. I said, can we have the ball back? He said, yeah, go on. He kicked it back to us, and off we went to school.
Jesus Christ. Oh, my God. That's just mad.
Yeah, it was. You know, it was like, you used to see these people every day. It was like, I can't say it wasn't anything special, because of course it was, but it wasn't like you're like, oh, it's you know, oh my God, that's Pat Jennings. You know, you kick the ball across the road. We didn't see him at the time, and he picked it up, come in the ball back, and he suddenly thought, oh, it's Pat Jennings. All right, oh Pat, come in the ball back. Yeah, and he'd kick it across. You know, it's like, it was great times. Great times.
Yeah. And look, I think we'll leave it there, Jez. Just before I go, I just want to say one thing as well. To Ola's on live streaming at 9 o'clock as well, and he's on the Fight Show. So please do show Ola a bit of support, like, you know. And we're doing a live stream tomorrow at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock it's starting, but 1 to 2. Just gonna see what Ola has to say. And look, if you like the video, hit a like, hit the like button. I'd really appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed, I really appreciate it, to try and grow my channel and, like, you know, help us out. Jez, you're the man. I really appreciate you coming on, mate. And
it's been a pleasure, man. It's been a pleasure.
I love having these chats, like, you know, and we go back into the history. And what I'm going to do is all week, and whenever I get you on again, we'll pick a year, or we'll have a chat about it. You know what I mean? I love going back into the history, because at the end of the day, we are a family. We're an Arsenal family. Doesn't matter what colour, what gender, what sexuality, or whatever you are, we're still an Arsenal family. and we love the one club, you know, and it's good to talk about the history, you know, the history of the club and how we became here today, you know. It's so important that, like, you know, let's say the younger fans, I think, know how we got to this stage, and I think a person like you live through it and talk about it is, like, you know, it's worth its weight in gold. Jez, thanks a million.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say before we shoot off?
Yeah, Arteta, you're a prick and fuck off.
Peace out. Arteta out. Fuck off. And enjoy your evening, everyone. Take care.